But I read something about this
Where
weekend.
they can have like 2 roles. or anything like that.
'Cause we
Yeah, that's
tried,
what I'm
like,
thinking. I just
with,
don't
like,
know
one
library or
something.
something. One indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Okay, on the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the September 7th meeting, approval of the bills and the financial report. Do you have any questions, Jerry, on any of the bills? So I automatically ask you.
Maybe it's a new agenda item, Jerry's question.
Jerry's question.
Yeah,
No.
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
On page 17.
Ooh.
On the compilation of the bills.
You mean at the beginning where it lists them?
Well, down at the lower right-hand corner, 17.
Ah, yes, got it. Okay.
Ah, got it. Yep.
The TIF payments,
Mm-hmm.
explain that to me a little bit, would you?
Can you,
Help you at least.
okay, yeah.
Columbia Court townhomes.
So
Oh,
these are the semi-annual or biannual payments that we make back to TIF districts. So every year, the county certifies taxes and we get a report from Ellers that goes back through our historical records on TIF districts and notifies us of our obligations under those TIF notes of what needs to be paid. Yep. So those are those first half payments.
And Short, Elliott Hendrickson, they're architects.
Yes,
engineers.
second to last, yes, that is SEH, commonly referred to, is our engineer for the cell tower at the library.
Okay, that's,
Okay.
okay. Then on the next thing on page 45.
The last page.
Uh, It's the, looks like this, the same
Oh,
summary.
it's the same, okay.
So it's
got it.
monthly in your packet,
Yeah, got it.
and each month starts with the summary page.
On that one, AT&T Mobility, 342,000.
Yep, that one stands out. That
You knew I'd ask about
it's a
that.
wonderful reminder. That is the final settlement payment to AT&T as part of the negotiated relocation of their equipment from the rooftop of 3989 to the new tower.
For the tower.
Yeah.
Kind of a shocker, ain't it?
And then what is this on flipping the page there? Winco.
Vinco, yes. Vinco was the contractor that was selected to build the new tower.
Okay. Do we have any compilation yet about what that whole affair cost us?
We do, I can get you a full breakdown. Accounting, finance has put together just a spreadsheet for the settlement statement. It's all things considered, it's just over $1 million.
I was just gonna say, I did a rough figure and I thought it came over $1 million.
I think our tower estimates from the original estimating were a little higher than what they turned out. So we got a little bit better tower pricing than what we expected, but just north of $1 million.
You know, that kind of stuff is kind of interesting because it gives you some basis for future planning and what we're doing and how we have to be careful on things. So,
I would agree.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Is that it? Any questions from anyone else on the bills or the minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion on the agenda, consent agenda. Move to approve. Motion's been made and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Do we have to do a roll call or can we do just all in favor?
All in favor.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to the business items. The first one is approve amended EDA budget resolution is number 2021-14.
Thank you, Madam
Ron.
Chair. So just a minor correction, the September 7th meeting, we reviewed the operating budget for the Economic Development Authority and the corresponding levy and approved a resolution that night for the budget to forward on to the city council. There was an error, clerical error, and because it was a budget resolution, we thought that it made sense to bring it back and just formally clear this in the record. So the levy amount in the resolution was listed at the budget amount. And we just need to fix that. So it had listed $250,028, which is representative again of the budget for the operating fund for the EDA. And we're seeking to levy $255,500, which is the same as the previous year. So this kept the levy constant from 2021 to 2022, and just making that clerical change to the resolution is all that we're looking at. So again, it's in your memo, but the memo, budget, and deliberations were around the correct numbers, and just a chance to
Okay.
fix it.
Any questions from the members? Okay, first is a motion to waive the reading. I have a motion.
Move to waive the reading of amended resolution 2021-14. There being ample copies available to the public.
Motion has been made and seconded to waive the reading. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now move to approve.
Move to approve amended resolution 2021-14. Resolution of the Columbia Heights Economic Development Authority adopting a budget for the fiscal year of 2022 and setting the 2021 tax levy payable in 2022.
Second.
Did you second? Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Next on the agenda is approval of the demolition contract.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We're discussing the demolition of 3 single-family homes that have been acquired by the EDA over the past 2 years. The first is at 230 40th, so at the intersection of University and 40th. They're right, or just north of the root property. For reference purposes, there's a map in the packet as well. And then the other 2 are also on 40th Avenue, a property that the EDA acquired directly east of the development site at 960 40th. And then 3 houses east of that is 1002. So we have taken the necessary steps to remove the hazardous materials, asbestos and appliances from all of the homes. The fire department actually burnt down 230 40th this summer. And we thought that it made sense to secure one demolition contract for all properties at one time. And that is the approval that we're here to discuss. So it's demolition of everything that's left, all of the buildings on each property, utility work in this case reflects a very minor amount of pulling the private services from the home site to the curb stop. Public Works has disconnected all of the utilities from the mains in the case of all 3 of these houses. So the utility work is very minimal, but we are asking the contractor to pull the rest of that piping out of the ground. And then also minor site grading. So in this case, it's just backfilling and placing topsoil and then seed blankets. And seed blankets might take place in the spring, depending on, we're really narrowing the window here. But we'll get what we can done, and that will certainly include demolition at the very least and get these down. And then one caveat to the topsoil seed blanket scenario would be 960 40th directly next to the development site. We're gonna cover the building pad with class 5 gravel because they'll be utilizing that as a temporary parking area as construction continues over the next year. And then we'll come back and do topsoil once we can fully clean that out. It's so close to the excavation that it didn't make sense from Public Works perspective to put the grass in there until we get the project done. And so staff had requested quotes from 3 contractors, only 2 elected to submit bids. That's results in your packet. Dropnik's Demolition submitted the low bid, and the other bid was Nitty Roll-Off Services. And we are recommending that the EDA award the contract for demolition to Dropnik's in the amount of $41,295.
Weren't they using 960, I think it's 960, as a construction shack? Have they moved that? usage to
So
inside the building now?
not quite yet. They do have a job site trailer directly behind the house at 960. Doran does. It's tucked in there, really shoehorned in there, and they will make the transfer into the building as soon as they can get it buttoned up and turn the heat on.
Well, I
But
think the only reason I asked it was that I knew that they were going to use it for their construction shack because the building was not enclosed or anything.
right,
So is this going to inconvenience them because they were using that as their construction shack?
we are coordinating with Doran on this, and they are fully on board, ready to bring it down,
Okay,
and excited to get it out of their way.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So then they can pull their trailer and use the trailer on there once the gravel and stuff is on there?
Trailer's already there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
behind the house that we're tearing down.
Okay,
This will give them better and more parking for their
Yep,
job site
yep.
superintendents and their Doran personnel only. They can park right next to the trailer then.
okay. Any other questions from the gang?
Could you remind us about the 1002?
Yeah.
House? I was just wondering how that came to be in the city's possession, because it's not right next door, so I was kind of like.
Right, so 3 doors up from 960, but in close enough proximity to the significant redevelopment, and that staff thought it was a good acquisition from a strategic perspective. So the rest of the houses in between 960 and 1002 would be desirous for the EDA to acquire to combine parcels and have a little bit bigger project. But the house itself just came to the open market for sale on the MLS. It was in reasonable condition, but hadn't been updated really since it was built, as original homeowners actually that had been there for 40+ years. So not significant blight, but just functionally obsolete. And again, in that kind of priority redevelopment corridor where we think we would like to assemble a little bit more land and do something next to the new project.
What did we pay for that house?
Oh, boy, now you're,
When was this?
that was in 2021. I didn't bring those records, Commissioner Herringer. I can't recall. I think out of memory, 175, I believe. Yeah.
That was this year?
Yeah,
2021?
yep. All 3 acquisitions spanned 2020 to 2020. So
If the
And then-
building at 240 is gone, they had a burn practice on the building? Or
Yep.
What are they removing?
just the foundation, more or less,
Okay,
and some
okay.
minimal debris that's in there, a steel I-beam and whatever else they could. The fire department did a really good job of cleaning that one down to the bones. An interesting side effect of the burn exercise that we came to find out through this round is there's a higher level of environmental testing that is now required that's related to the riots that took place in downtown Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Because of all the burning that went on and the demolition landfills became more, they scrutinized the dumping more heavily because of heavy metal content. So we had to have another layer of testing on that property, and that's why we're about a month behind of where we had hoped to be in the timeline, because that fact emerged through the bidding process. We had good demo contractors that said, hey, did you know this is what's going on now? This is the requirement for any burn material. That house passed. There were levels of heavy metals that weren't anywhere near the thresholds. But if you do, that material ends up getting trucked out of state because there isn't a landfill in Minnesota that will take it currently. So,
Interesting.
yeah, it was interesting and annoying. I'm glad that most single family homes will pass that. It would make it more difficult to support the burn exercises if that additional
Exactly.
cost.
Right.
Because now we end up saving a little bit of money because the demo is slightly more affordable. But if we had to pay to truck it out of state, that would make that really hard.
I just looked it up. It said the house sold December 31st for 175.
Okay, so. Doesn't always happen. I'll take it. All right.
Okay. Great. If there are no questions concerning this, let us do a motion to waive the reading.
Move to waive the reading of resolution 2021-19. There being ample copies available to the public.
Motion has been made and seconded to waive the reading. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Now, motion to adopt.
Move to adopt resolution 2021-19, resolution of the Economic Development Authority of Columbia Heights, Minnesota, approving contract with Drobnex Demolition for demolition of site improvement, site grading and utility work for the properties located at 960-1002 and 230 40th Avenue Northeast.
Do I have a second? Second. Motion is made and seconded to adopt the resolution. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. What do we have left? Ah, we don't have anything left.
Sorry. I didn't want you to have to fall down just for that.
I was going to ask you, is the section that's being built above the new city hall, is it going to be as tall as the rest of the building? It looks really weird right
Yeah,
now.
it does. It's a really good question. And for anyone that's watching, probably was thinking the same thing. Yes, it will be equal to the height
Okay,
of the other
okay. They had to
apartments.
just wait for the cement to cure.
Yeah, there was that. And they were had always thought that they would break it in two, but yeah, that middle adjoining concrete strip on the two large foundation sections had to wait
Yeah.
for a certain cure period and
Yeah.
yeah,
It just kind of looks weird.
it does. It'll all be taking shape.
It'll all come
Yeah, it'll really start to come into focus in the next,
Are
month
they
or
on
so.
track?
More or less, yeah. There's been a lot of the delays that we're hearing industry-wide.
Yes.
Windows, for example, were pushed out and now they're going in. So they're moving within that framework, but generally speaking, I think it's going to come together on schedule. Yeah.
I just think they started putting the windows up on the top floor.
Yeah.
And, you think you go from bottom up. But why are they up
If you
on the
drop
60
something,
floor?
we
If
don't
you
wanna
drop
break
one,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much routine.
We'd have to ask Ryan maybe what his experience is. I just know that,
If you drop something.
yeah, yeah.
It just seems
That's,
like when I was going back and forth downtown and there was all that development going on. It seems like I remember them working
yeah.
from the top down.
Well, they're doing it from like a lift, boom lift, and I just up 6 stories. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's the farthest reach that those can go, and that's the way it is. But it's such a tight site,
Yes,
there's
it
you
is.
can't step back from it. It's just like,
No.
but yeah, coming together.
Cool.
What's the scheduled completion date?
So looking at early fall of next year, sometime in the September area for apartments. We want to be moving into City Hall. I'm looking at,
The same, if not just a hair later.
yeah,
We're trying to coordinate city hall construction with apartment construction and what we don't want is for them to be doing construction on our site while there's people living.
Oh, Lord,
in the
yeah,
building.
right.
So I'm just trying
So
to-
are they trying to think of maybe completing City Hall before, at the same time as they complete that part up above, so that,
That's our goal.
well, the other thing is that here you are with a finished building and you're carrying on meetings and stuff, and they're building up above. I mean, I would think it would have to be kind of like a,
Mutual.
Hmm?
Needs to be mutual.
A
Both of us
mutual-
want the same.
yeah, a mutual thing.
That's what
so.
we're working on with Doran. Yes, that's our goal. And the lattices too.
Have they secured like a cafe or anything yet for,
They have not.
they have not.
So that's those,
That's still their plan, is to try to get something.
yeah.
I don't want you guys starving. You need to have a.
No,
place where you can go
exactly.
get a little lunch or something, you know.
They've entertained several conversations and they're just looking for the right fit.
Okay.
There's been interest and they're not stressing over it is kind of how I would put it. But have not pinned it down quite yet. Yeah, it's, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, since you're giving statuses, and what's the status on the new site, the Hy-Vee, old
Ah.
Hy-Vee site?
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
In there, or-
Yeah, I'd be happy to give you a general overview. So right now, Lattice is really working hard to secure a grocery partner, and they have one that's very interested and they've gone through 2 design iterations with them to try to refine the site plan to meet their needs. And they see that as the next critical component, secure that partner, and then we'll have the actual site plan. So that's how they're compartmentalizing it, get through all of these negotiations and hopefully get a deal put together. And then we can move through engagement and entitlements. If this partner falls through, they're gonna go back out to the market with a new brokerage firm. They might even run simultaneous tracks. They don't know, but Bob Lux did want me to convey that to the council and EDA that's his framework, that it makes sense to get that locked in because it's such a primary component of the site planning.
We can't do a little demolition just to get our.
That's all, yeah, that's
Because
also,
half the building that's there right now, just, just to, like he did with just the corner of the old building when he started turning.
that planning is also running simultaneous. And I think there's no need to do it until spring. So they do want to hit the ground running, but yeah, they're getting bids for that work right now. They're looking at the actual, how they're going to do it, how they're going to create a firewall between the removed building and ACE, and the details of that. It's a little more
So it's-
complicated.
In going back to them looking for a grocer for that location, and you mentioned that they're reiterating that plan to some degree. They're not anticipating making it smaller, are they?
No, so that's somewhat of a loaded question. So smaller than Hy-Vee, yes.
Smaller than Hy-Vee, and last we heard it was going to be about half the size of what Rainbow had been.
So what they're trying to secure is between 45 and 65,000 square foot anchor grocer tenant. That's what they're hoping and working towards. Hy-Vee, for comparison's sake, was around 90,000.
And I think Rainbow was what, 80 or 85?
I don't know the exact footage of Rainbow. Yeah,
I think it was somewhere in that vicinity.
all
Glad to
these
hear
around
that they're looking-
25, just to kind of,
I'm glad that they're looking at 40 to 65 rather than 30 to 40.
yeah, it would be, in staff's opinion, really great if
Pop
this,
it up a little bit.
if this all comes together.
But the Hy-Vee number would have included all their little shoe stores and home goods.
Yes.
stores, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been just the grocery component.
It's a really good point, Commissioner Novitsky. Yeah, I think if there was a 45 to 60,000 square foot grocer tenant, that again, in staff's opinion, is really a big grand slam, all things considered. When watching Hy-Vee exit and then, convincing someone else to come in,
Can
sorry.
they put a sign up at least that the property is owned by Lattice now? You know what I mean? We have the proposed sign.
Yeah,
Anything like that that just shows the residents. There is, you know, it is owned by Lattice, so it stops some rumors that are going out there
Fighting for
still.
2023 or something like
You
that.
know,
We'd be happy to talk to Lattice about that
Yeah,
and get
anything-
rid of the little sign that we have bolted to the,
Show some action on. the-
yeah.
Just a
Mhm.
little
On the
bit.
site.
Bad
Um,
idea.
in Hy-Vee news, the last correspondence I had with Hy-Vee also, they said that it is still their intent to develop their gas station site.
Really? Was that-
So,
I'm
I-
surprised.
Why?
no timeline. So it had that fast and fresh, like micro grocery store convenience option, and
Yeah.
internally right now, they're saying that they'll still do it again. You know, we'll see. They'd have to go back through.
But they've got that property
Kinda like
tied
a-
up, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
Deja vu, I think.
right.
yeah.
I'm not,
Deja vu all over again.
What's like you said, there's that other property.
yeah,
to attach there that-
right. Directly north of their gas station site is another equally sized parcel for commercial development. So we'll see. But I guess from my perspective, it was good to hear, you know, if they're, yeah, if they will do it. We update on Caribou. So the Caribou Coffee was interested in our 4441 Central lot. Now corporate's coming back and saying we can't get enough parking. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see where it goes. They have a minimum requirement of, I think, 10, and it'll fit 7.
They can't buy out the guy at that little garage.
That'll be explored. Yeah, I think that
Cabin?
in,
Caribou cabin?
it was the cabin
Oh, it was, and
concept.
they still
Yeah.
need 10 spots?
Yeah, I feel the same. I need to hear it directly from them. But yeah, some of them are having no
Parking.
lobby. There's,
Yeah.
it's all
Maybe you
drive
just
through.
Drive through like a kiosk.
But the employees certainly need parking, and then they do want to get like a patio in wherever they can, so that drives a need. But I mean, pre-pandemic, anecdotally, the coffee shop developers were saying, you know, 90+% of the traffic is drive-through. That's pre-pandemic. So now, I don't know what those numbers are, but I mean, it's very drive-through heavy. We'll see. It is a
See,
very
the two
tight
little
site.
New Caribous they built. One
Yeah.
is out off of University and I can't think of where that is. What's
2
that?
in Fridley recently.
It's in Fridley. And then the other one is over, it's also Fridley, but it's on Central.
Yep.
And they've done it really, really well. I mean, it didn't have to be a real big building, but it's real easy to get in. You
Yep.
get your order, you get around and get back out. So is that kind of what they're looking at
That's,
doing?
yes, that was the concept. The building is 600 square feet,
Okay, okay.
quite small.
Yep,
So it's like a
yep.
Dairy Queen, you know.
And where were you thinking about that?
We had acquired 4441 Central. It's just north of the new Alatus redevelopment site
Yes,
on the east side of the road, the auto.
Car wash.
oh, where we took the house.
Yep, took the
out
house
there?
down the foreclosure. Yep.
Okay, well, they'd have enough room there, but it'd be nice to get
Yes.
rid of that little garage too.
Yeah, we'll engage the owner. If you can believe this, the lot with that little building on it is 20 feet wide.
Mhm.
So
How it was ever allowed is beyond me.
Yeah,
it's a
he
remnant.
just recited the building too. A while
Oh,
back. this
long
summer, he
time
just
ago.
recited
Who?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding me.
If we could acquire that, I think
It's a
that's
little
all they would
like a
need to
double
probably
garage,
push it
single
over the
car
edge. But
garage with the garage door in the
That's was
front.
his sign.
until they know that Caribou's
Oh.
interested, so don't let anybody.
Pop-ups.
Yeah.
Anything new on 42nd?
Oh, no, nothing drastic. Still gearing up for a second round approach to the state for funding in January. And SECA continues to move their site planning along. They'd hoped to make application today, actually, for,
Seika did?
yeah, but they'll miss that deadline and be, looks like jumping into the November planning round for what would be New Year's approval. You know, the council would get it in January, because we typically forego
Are they looking at behind public safety? Is that where?
that
safety's
site.
looking?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Any news on their funding? Did they get any of those grants that they applied for?
No news yet. Nothing's been awarded. So both entities are in various holding patterns with various funding sources and kind of waiting for the first of the year. I know Reuter Walton's exploring other debt options beyond the bond funding because at this point, they're heavily invested into the project, obviously, in the site, and they're determined to see it through. It's just the nature of this type of funding. It's got the subjective criteria that comes with, the bond process.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other?
Yeah, I guess I would take the opportunity to at least introduce quickly the newest staff member to kind of CD finance, Juanita Martinez. She'll be really helping out community development with Alicia's maternity leave, but her home base is in finance. But we've created a position that we want to evolve into the new city hall, because the new city hall is going to have a long front desk where you can talk to public works, you can talk to utility billing, and you can talk to community development and
Oh,
planning.
nice.
So the first point of contact is Juanita's new position, where she'll have to know about CD and know about utility billing, finance, everything, and direct traffic. So her first shot at that is with us, and it's really great to have the opportunity to do that. So yeah, welcome
Baptism
to,
of fire.
yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And that's it for me.
Okay, are we all done? Everybody had their say? All right. Seeing as that our agenda is complete, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion's been made and second that we
End up
adjourn.
done.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Talking enough tonight. It's your turn.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
One of these days I'm
we'll
gonna
get-
shatter
we'll
this
get that
thing.
gavel. So how do we